Hello, everybody. How's it going?
How are you, everyone? Long time no see.
Happy Monday. I don't know why. Today, all of a sudden, I was getting ready to say that, and then I was like, it is, right? It is
Yeah,
Monday?
these weeks have been rolling into
Yeah,
each other.
it's because we have busy weekends. I've
Yes.
got to tell you right off the bat, I don't even have this on paper here because I have to keep myself on track. I just have to thank this guy and the guy behind the camera because they have been really by my side, but more importantly out in the community the last few weekends, and that's not easy. You know, MLK Day for some people is the day off. My crew showed up. We had our open house and job fair. They showed up to help with that, and then this past weekend we had an amazing time out in the community for a cookout. And so to give up that time, I just want to give them a big shout out. Thank you.
Thank you for making it such a fun experience. And having those community events, I think it's much more enjoyable being out in the community, meeting new people. So it's really special.
Thank you. I agree. I totally agree.
We have a few important dates coming up.
Yeah.
We have the Williamsburg Town Hall.
That's right. We've been working hard to make sure that we are 2024, getting back on our rotation for town halls and community events. And so our first stop is the beautiful area of Williamsburg. And so we'll be there on Wednesday evening. What time does it start?
6 p.m. That'll be 6 p.m.
6 p.m. at the, which clubhouse?
So it's the Deer Creek HOA clubhouse.
If you have any questions about it, please reach out. We have, obviously I'll be there, my team will be there, but we'll also have representatives from some of our departments. We'll have information about some upcoming dates and ways that for you to get involved. I think there's a lot going on, and we try really hard to make sure that we're telling you about it here through our newsletter, but also by getting out to a town hall. So just stay in touch with us. If you can't make it to that, that's okay. Also, we will likely have a lot of information available for you once we get everything compiled for the town hall, and we can make sure to get that out.
And more so, we'll be doing some more of these town halls in the future.
That's right. They'll be coming.
Different locations, yeah.
Exactly.
And then we also have the D1 office hours that we're going to be doing on Thursday.
Aaron's never done office hours before out in the district, and it was something that I felt pretty strongly about that we needed to do because it's not easy to get downtown if you live out in Hunters Creek or Williamsburg or Horizon West or one of the District 1 municipalities. To come downtown to talk to your local representative it's kind of a burden. So felt pretty strongly about doing district office hours. We set it up last year and then took a break going into the holidays. So we're coming back. And so Thursday we will have district office hours. If you are interested in making an appointment, please just email us at district1@ocfl.net. We're going to do 30-minute spots unless there's something really big that we need to talk about, and then we can figure out how to make more time. Or if it's something that you don't need that much time, let us know because we still want to meet with you. And yeah, we'll see. We'll start. I think this one's in Winter Garden.
Yes, this one is in Winter Garden.
Winter Garden. So we're going to be there, and then we'll do the rotation.
I think there's
Hunters Creek will be coming up. Yep, we get out to Horizon West, and
perfect.
If you have a location that you think that we really need to set up a district office hours, please let us know. I totally have an open mind about it because I think it's something that my residents really motivated me to do it in the first place. And if we're missing somebody or some community because we're either too far for them or it's difficult for them to get to us, we'll come to you. So just let us know.
Yes. We also have supply drives.
Oh my gosh, everybody.
We're coming up in February, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, so I think just want to make sure that I always come across residents who say, how can I help? What can I do? And of course, government doesn't do everything. We want to make sure that we're also kind of partnering with our nonprofits and our community-based organizations. Yeah. So we try really hard to partner with them for some supply drives. 2 of them coming up. One is really so straightforward, diapers. It's tragic when you see the numbers of citizens that have to sacrifice other really essential household items to be able to afford diapers. They're not cheap.
Wow. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and if you have an infant, you're gonna probably give up something if you don't have enough money for either something on your grocery bill or your diapers. You're probably gonna go with diapers. So it's definitely a supply drive that I think has a lot of importance for young families or our parents out there that sometimes just need a hand. So we're going to be there'll be a drop-off day. There'll be some information coming out. I think it's February 10th is the drop-off day. But there's a Amazon link that you can also, from the ease and comfort of your home, go to, and you can just actually have diapers shipped straight to the coalition. It's actually being done in partnership with the city and with some of the people that actually help take care of our families out there. So if you have a interest in helping with that, please do. The other one is our local nonprofit 8 Waves, where they do so much actually in the educational realm. And so they have a wonderful high school program. And one of the things they have that kind of motivates the high school program to keep running is they have great snacks, and they have some Gatorade and things for kids. They get out of school, they got to go to a tutoring, or they're meeting with a mentor. And sometimes they just need a little bit of extra fuel for that. And so this is some supplies for 8 Waves that you can also either do just from Amazon or drop off at the 8 Waves office. So check out our social media feeds for more information, and we'll drop the links for the Amazon wish list in the thread for this.
Absolutely. And then the diaper drop off is from 10 to 1.
10 to 1, yes, kind of a short window there, but it's okay if for some reason you can't get diapers there to that community center during that time. Either let us know, and we will figure out another drop location for you, either here at the office or maybe when we're out at office hours. We'll get them there for you. And because it's kind of a narrow window there that we're having the drop off at the community center.
Absolutely. But let's switch gears to talk about the BCC on the 23rd, which was a big one.
It was. Can you see the circles still under my eyes a little bit? We had a BCC that started on Tuesday morning and went into Wednesday morning. And honestly, though, the outcomes were really good for what I feel like is what our residents asked for and how they participated. I'm so proud of the level of engagement that we got on so many issues that day. It wasn't the only other time that I've seen a Board of County Commission meeting go past midnight. It was on one case. We had multiple issues being heard in one day that people wanted to engage on and come and speak in front of the board about, and they made a difference. I just try really hard to make sure that if you've come here and you've said something in front of this board, that I can tell you when it made a difference. This time it made a difference. And we saw it, even in the late hours of the day, there were people that had stayed for hours and hours and hours to give public comment about a development that they felt like was going to be damaging to the Econ River and to the environment in East Orange County. And they were heard. It was incredible.
It's respectful to see it, and it's encouraging to see your residents that care.
Exactly.
They stay for things, and they just don't leave. Oh, it's late. They actually want to see it through.
That's right. And I think as somebody who has been on that side and had come before the Board of County Commission and felt unheard, it's a horrible feeling because you've given up your time, your energy, you've worked to get some research on what you should bring forward, you maybe organize with your neighbors, and then to be totally dismissed, it's so frustrating because it does not feel democratic. And quite frankly, we were all elected to be here to represent our residents. So having the ability to do that and to really represent their interests is so meaningful. I think to kind of give a little bit more insight on the morning session, the hot topic of that morning, of course, was the tourist development tax. But a lot of people didn't get to see that we were actually able in the consent agenda to fund more positions for our
animal shelter.
For our animal shelter, exactly. We hear all the time that we are not keeping up. And it's something that is of great concern to me and to my staff and to, I think, people across the county, that we're taking really good care of the animals that are entrusted to Orange County Animal Services. If I had my preferences, they would never get there. That they would be taken in and loved before they ever hit the front door of Orange County Animal Services. But knowing that they do end up being dropped off there or abandoned somewhere and stray or confiscated, which happens, I think the most important thing we can do from a policy standpoint is to make sure that the resources continue to be adjusted as the population grows. So having an adjustment for staffing, having an adjustment for whatever we need for the facility until we have a new facility built, all those things matter because we have to be able to have the people to take care of the animals. They can't speak for themselves. We have to be able to hire good people and retain good people. Yes. And it's not easy. the people that work in that field, they work really hard, and there's not a lot of thanks for them.
No.
So, being able to support that from a policy side is very meaningful.
Yeah, and it's a labor of love that they're doing. Truly, they don't do it for the accolades or even the money. So it's really commendable. No,
it's true. We have people that go every day unpaid down to the shelter to walk dogs, wash dogs, play with dogs, get into the cat area and make sure the cats have little blankets and some interaction time. And we have volunteer social media people who go down there and just with their own time do little videos, and because people really want to see this shelter cleared, right? We want to see all the animals find a home and get home. But the reality of it is it's the only open public shelter in the area. So sadly, they are the receiving for any abandoned, any upcoming court case where there's been some kind of a intervention and there's been animals that were confiscated. So they really have their hands full before we even get to the rescue side of their operations. So, if you have any questions about that, if you're interested in fostering or adopting, please reach out. I'll meet you down there. I'll show you how to sign up to be a foster family. And they have some really great programs that they try to get our community involved. So whatever your interest is, we can try to get you involved there. If nothing else, try to help us get the word out that they're good people doing their best, and we're trying really hard to make sure that they get the support they need through staffing and other funds to make sure that they're offering the best care.
Absolutely. That's great. Well said.
Oh, thank you.
And we also have the Temple on Hempel case.
The Temple on Hempel case. My Gotha residents. It's unbelievable, Aaron, and I know that you talk to residents that call here and email us. How many residents have interacted? The hearing is over, and the application was actually denied, and I'm still getting resident emails and phone calls, and they're like, vote no. So people are still engaging. So, what happened was obviously the Baptist Temple, which I think I want to be really, really clear about the fact that I support the people of the Baptist Temple and that congregation. They're a wonderful congregation, and they do an amazing amount of community outreach, and they have these beautiful festivals, and it's a welcoming, inclusive religion. So this had nothing to do with the people of the Baptist Temple, and I hope they find a forever home in District 1 that is, everything that they want and need.
Yes.
The parcel that they identified for that particular hearing on Tuesday was in the rural settlement of Gotha, and it was sort of landlocked in an area where they don't have sewer, so they would have had to have septic, and it's in an area where there was a lot of impacts from the Turnpike Authority, where there's some water concerns and historic flooding, and the Gotha residents were very concerned because under the Gotha rural settlement comprehensive plan documents, things aren't supposed to be that big and that intense, and the number of parking lots was really high. It was occupancy for 800 in their main hall, and there was going to be right around 300 parking spots. So, it was a continued case, and we were really hopeful that maybe when we sat back down at the table that we'd be able to get them to kind of come down to Gotha size, because the next size building that was a religious building in Gotha was less than half that size.
Absolutely.
So I think, if we could have gotten somewhere near a consistent size of the larger institutional buildings there, we may have been able to work something out, but they need a bigger building. They literally outgrew their other building. And so knowing that, it just, the fit wasn't good, and the people of Gotha really came out and expressed their concern about all of those things, the safety off of Hempel, the issue with the water, and what was going to happen to the stormwater. And then, really the other piece of it is the historic smaller buildings and how they're going to continue to maintain those in Gotha. And I know it's going to be a challenge in our rural settlements. So, I feel bad that they continue to have to show up and try to express the things that we know are already in our comprehensive plan. So thank you to everybody in Gotha for continuing to stay really plugged in and for reaching out. And, it was ultimately denied. It was a very long hearing and it looked like after the first motion was made that potentially the denial was not going to be supported by the majority of commissioners. But then some of the commissioners tried to negotiate with the applicant on size, and things did not work out. They wouldn't come down in size, and so ultimately it was denied. And so that should be that, and hopefully we can maybe navigate a bigger, better location for the congregants of the Baptist Temple. That's my hope.
Absolutely, something more, I guess, reasonable for all of the parties involved.
Yeah, they really can use, I think, an area where they can get in and out easily, even though this parcel was, if you look at it aerially, it looks like it's right off the 408 and the turnpike, but you can't get there from either of those. You literally have to come up to like the exit for West Colonial one way, or go all the way down and go through Metro West and Windermere, or through. So there was no easy way to get there. So everybody using it would have had to come in and off Little Hempel, yes. Which Little Hempel it's small and it's already really dangerous for the folks that try to use it for walking or biking to get to their school, or to just walk around the neighborhood.
Traffic, and safety.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big concern.
Yeah, we have a couple more cases that were on the docket that day.
Yeah.
Carina Parkside.
Yes, Carina. So this is the one that many of my friends out at the JCC on South of Popcove Island got engaged with. This was part of the O-Town West, I think, PD. And to kind of make a long story short, back when they were trying to figure out that entire development, that is the O-Town development, on the Carina development, they had an agreement with the JCC, the Jewish Community Center, that they would, be able to have access to whatever was coming next, so that people could exit their facility. And what ended up coming forward at a hearing, I think over a month ago, didn't look like it still had that right away. So the people at the JCC asked if we could take a look at it, have a community meeting. We had one. As for my Dr. Phillips area friends, they show up. They were there. I love them because they show up and they really ask the right questions. And so the applicant was able to get back with the Jewish Community Center representatives, and I think they worked out pretty much what they needed for that piece of the parcel.
Absolutely. We also had Sustany on the docket. So
yes.
That case was another large one.
Yeah, Sustany was the one that pushed us into the next day, and it was something that I think was, for people that have lived in Orange County for any period of time, you may recall the Lake Pickett development and the controversy that surrounded Lake Pickett. It was fought in court, and they actually, the residents prevailed in court, and that case was overturned actually administratively by the executive. It was Rick Scott that came in and basically said, yeah, the county, you don't have a say, and by the way, judicial, you don't have a say either. And so sadly, the people really kind of lost one when you think about what happened in the Lake Pickett South. And Lake Pickett North was different. This was it's a different application. I think the applicant, in their defense, really tried to put something forward that would be more pleasing to people, because they tried to incorporate things that were either bikeable or had, they tried to integrate some of the natural features of the area. But at the end of the day, it was still a lot of development in a very sensitive environmental area, and an area that was already really suffering with the growth just over around the UCF area. And so we actually heard from even Seminole County commissioners saying, hey, try to match what we're doing over here in Seminole County, because we're talking about the Econ River Basin. And if we can't, if we can't protect it here, we're going to get, we're going to end up with your impacts if you all don't think about this the way we've thought about this. And so really protecting that river basin and making sure that we are protecting the surrounding rural settlement is really important, because I think they're already feeling the impacts from some of the approvals that were done way before I got here.
And it's really nice to see like the counties coming together, working together, and Seminole County telling you to model what we've implemented. I mean, it's all about conserving the environment that's there.
Right, that we have to share, right? Because the river doesn't realize when it's crossing out of Seminole County into Orange County. And so we really should be working really closely with them on that rural boundary. Mm-hmm. My hope, Aaron, is that the Charter Review Commission, which is a citizen-based commission, and they're working through one of the proposals right now, which is a rural boundary that really does sort of mimic what they've done in Seminole County, because otherwise we just end up back at these hearings. And we understand that we can, when we are looking to try to question a proposed development, we have so many things in front of us. And one of them is our comprehensive plan. And another one is, our development code and our environmental permitting guidelines. But all of those things can be challenged. And so having something in our charter, I think, would be very meaningful. And Seminole County did it, so it's been done and it's been held up in court. So I really hope that Orange County can do something like that.
Yeah. And I know there's a couple people you also wanted to thank from the past couple of weeks. And
oh my gosh, there's so many. I don't even know where to start. So, oh my gosh. So if we rewind to our MLK Day of Service, if you all got to see some of the photos that came out of this really cool,
amazing.
It was such a cool day. It was a service volunteer opportunity where people from all over, I ran into friends from different parts of my life and career and neighborhood that were working at tables with coworkers and neighbors and sorority sisters, and because everybody pitched in to do. How many meals ended up getting made?
$1 million and more than their goal was $1 million, but they hit more than $1 million. I think $1 million and then like 5,000 or something.
Is that incredible?
Yeah.
And it was meaningful meals that were able to be weighed and balanced. It was rice and beans, like sun-dried
lentils.
Yeah, so it was high protein and
jambalaya. They were making a jambalaya.
A jambalaya. It all sounds good to me. I love anything with lentils. And so you saw protein, something that was really substantial, but also something that can be done in bulk, right? Because we understand that in some of these cases, if we can't transport it and we can't get it distributed, it's not going to do anybody any good. And if it's something that is perishable, that we only have 6 hours to get it there, it's going to go bad. So this was something that could be scalable, really big project to put it all together, and then really transferable, where they were packaged really nice and neat and in boxes that can then go to the pantries and the delivery type community-based organizations that do that service. So it was incredible. That was an incredible event.
It was. And I think after the first 2 hours of the actual day of service, they already hit like 250,000 meals prepared.
It's amazing.
It's just amazing.
Which should be like a reminder for everybody that the more people that jump in on these things, the more we get done.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's one of those, I always mess up sayings, and there's like a really good saying about more hands, lighter lift. I don't know what the saying is, but this idea that if you have all the extra hands, that nobody's really shouldering the whole burden, and we can really, really help so many people. That like sometimes it feels really small on your side, but what it's doing when it's mixed with everybody's small is big.
Yes. And I know, separate topic, that you've been like the only commissioner to really be like a real advocate for the Vision Zero.
Oh, they're all jumping in now.
Yeah.
Everyone's on board now.
Yeah.
So I was really fortunate, and Erin, before your time, but if she's listening, shout out Hannah, that I had an aide here for a couple of years who was a real advocate for walkable, bikeable communities. And so she was a biker herself, rode her bike to work every day, and could really see the world through that lens. And so Vision Zero, when it came forward as an initiative to Orange County, into the county commission, I think that there were a lot of people who were like, oh, this just looks like, words on paper, false promises. But Hannah and, me and a lot of the advocates out there that were looking at it really believed if you say it and it's documented, that you then have to put it into practice in a bunch of ways, right? So one of the things that happened from Orange County signing on to that was that we started to see the entire region sign on, including the Department of Transportation, which means all of MetroPlan, which means that the Vision Zero initiative took off. And so finally, as part of the Vision Zero initiative, we got out to the community and we had the first meeting, first Orange County meeting in District 1. And thank you for being there. Thank you for being there. Really cool. It's a starting point, but I want to explain what Vision Zero is. It's the idea that when somebody is killed as a result of a traffic accident, that we just shrug and go, oh, well, there's a fatality. That's not acceptable. And it's not acceptable. It happens so many times in so many places that we could have prevented it. And not every one of those things that could be done to prevent that are big, expensive changes. Sometimes there are things like changing, a right on red or a U-turn angle. It can be lighting. It can be adding a roundabout. It can be making sure there's a protected bike lane. It can be making sure pedestrians have a raised crosswalk. So as part of the initiative, we've got to figure out where those hot spots are that we can really get to and address right away. And so the public feedback portion of this is critical. What did you think about the meeting and the information they brought?
I was really overwhelmed by the heat maps, like with all of the different incidents, pedestrians, bicycles. And it was just, like you said, we kind of see it. It's unfortunate, but when you really look at every single number, it's a life. That's somebody's life. And so that's what I guess made it more motivating to see this happening. That these are people's lives. It's not just, let's just make a share the road initiative. It's really about protecting lives. And so I think it's much more sentimental.
I agree.
But I think it was amazing.
Yeah, you see a heat map and you realize that you can't look at that heat map where there's been incident after incident after incident after incident and then blame a pedestrian. Right? Because you can say one person maybe. If something happened to one person at a crosswalk or an intersection, maybe they were crossing against the light or doing something they shouldn't be doing. If you see it as a place where something has happened again and again and again, then we mess something up. Something is wrong with the design, something is wrong with the visibility, and we need to get to that. And I think it's something that really puts the onus on the planners, on the policy people, because it's always been on the public to navigate this. And it's been on law enforcement. Like, well, you should be out there making sure people aren't speeding. Well, yeah, that's a part of it. But we expect them not to speed on roads that we make look like racetracks. And, if you have a pedestrian crossing in the middle of a racetrack and then people get hit and you wonder why, whose fault is that? So, continuing to look at that design, continuing to look at what makes walkable, bikeable, safe areas safe. And we know speed is one of the issues. We know slowing down saves lives. And I know for my zippy friends out there that need to get somewhere, they don't want to hear this, but maybe go on the roadway that's designed for that kind of speed.
Absolutely.
Right? Don't cut through someone's neighborhood and hit that speed. And if you're, have to leave 5 minutes earlier the next day, do that, because that could save a life. And you won't carry with you the guilt for the rest of your life about something that may have happened at the intersection.
Yeah, it's great to see, the county really merging with Vision Zero to create this initiative, take the onus, like you said, and take initiative to change these things. Because, one life is always too much.
That's right.
So
that's exactly right. And I think it's important. The Vision Zero initiative is so important because it's got to be regional. Yeah. Because just like a river doesn't know when it's crossing into another county. If you're navigating your way across Orange County, you don't know which roads belong to the Department of Transportation, which ones belong to the county, which ones belong to the city of whoever, because you're just trying to get somewhere. And whether you're, on a bike, in your car, in a bus, we should be working cohesively. So seeing a regional effort and seeing MetroPlan involved and the municipalities involved and the other counties involved really gives me a great deal of optimism.
Yeah. And I think another great thing that we did recently was the Tildenville cleanup event. And that was really nice. I think Drew and I really enjoyed being able to experience that.
So it is absolutely one of the most satisfying community events that you can participate in. We will be having more, or if you would like us to come out and plan one in your area, let me know, because we enjoyed it. And, as somebody who loves to volunteer out in the community, there's something so satisfying about at the end actually seeing a clean walkway, having a clean little ditch area, and all this garbage getting the heck out of a neighborhood. And every neighborhood deserves to be spotless and to have that kind of care. And I know we can't get to all of them, but if you know of an area that we could really give some extra attention to, we really enjoyed it. And I think we did this one on a Friday, so it was a little harder to get community participation in, but the ideal would be to do one on a weekend or a holiday sometime where we could get high school students who want to come out and get hours to volunteer, or people from some of our other nonprofits that want to just chip in. And because we got a lot done even in the short time, with a kind of a good sized crew.
It was pretty good.
But it was how much?
262 pounds, I think, or something like that. Yeah.
It's incredible. And what was the weirdest thing we found?
Oh my goodness. It was a moldy sock with clamshells or snail shells in the middle of it. It was moldy and
poor Aaron gagging out there. I was like, okay, just put it down. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Somebody else found like a strand of barbed wire.
Oh, yeah.
There was a bullet casing. So you never know what you're going to find.
Very true.
But we do provide gloves and a little tongy prong thing so that you can be safe and so that we can also get everything out of there at the end of the day. So some other, poor resident on their way home from school or work doesn't come across that and get hurt.
Yeah, because you really drive by it, but you don't really think much of it. And then people that were driving by seeing us do that were, thanking me. They were so grateful for the fact.
Oh, I had a resident that came out and was like, I'm going to blame the kids. And blame the kids. But I think it's just a lot of stuff that gets
absolutely
kind of, sometimes things fly out the top of a garbage
truck,
which I got a lot of people that saw our pictures from that social media that reached out and said that they were seeing it out the top of their garbage truck. So you know what I told them? Call 311. I mean, call us also and let us know, but 311 they need to know because we have contracts with those haulers and they shouldn't be allowing that to happen. And if that is happening, they need to get back out there under contract to make sure they're cleaning up.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, no, it's 311.
The community cookout that we had on Saturday was a really nice event in Tildenville, same park.
Yeah, it was nice to go back and be like, oh, it's so nice out here.
It's like, beautiful. Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, it was fun. Our Tildenville Safe Neighborhood Association is a group of people in that neighborhood who volunteer their time and their energy to try to make sure that they are coordinating family events and they're doing. Sometimes they get together to talk about programming for the kids in the area, some programming for seniors in the area. So we don't have a ton of the safe neighborhood programs, but the ones that we do have, I think, they could use extra support. So I'm trying really hard to support ours. If you're interested in it, it's in our neighborhood services department. I will tell you this particular Safe Neighborhoods program really got off the ground when Lee Perry was here. If Lee, you're watching this, just know that they are still cranking out there and we still are working really hard to try to make sure that we are resourcing that program because it is important and we shouldn't give up on it.
Definitely, most definitely. I know that the next BCC has a few agenda items on there. The Split Oak Forest.
I know, you feel like we're taking a deep breath from the last BCC. We're like, okay, here we go.
And I mean, we've had a good run. I mean, it was just the past BCC before this wasn't as hectic as this past one.
That's what I was saying. Over the holidays, we get that little bit of a. I'm like, anything, get some dental work done.
Get it done.
Make sure you go in December. Because we came out of that. That's right. You got to come out of January, and it's like, doof.
That was bad.
Yeah, so the very first meeting in February, Split Oak Forest is going to be on the agenda. We will be getting an update. I have no information right now about what the Environmental Protection Division or our legal department is apprising us of. The second I get it, I will share it because that is public record. And quite frankly, which side of this fight I've been on for years and years. I'm really frustrated that we're still talking about this. It's off limits, go around. It's been off limits since the 90s, go around. There's no reason for a toll road to go through publicly owned conservation lands. And even if there was a really good public purpose, which I will tell you that this toll road is to private development, but even if there was a really good public purpose, you would still have to evidence that you couldn't have any other alternatives. And nobody ever investigated other alternatives. They were like, no, it's just too expensive. It's just too expensive to go around. And that's not a good reason to go through publicly owned conservation land.
Absolutely. Money over wildlife. I mean, conserve the wildlife.
Yeah, exactly. And quite frankly, your wildlife, right? So it's not even something that there are times that we hate development, but it's a private development application and it's, on a piece of private property. So the government really has much less involvement. This is literally publicly owned property. Your tax dollars bought this. Your tax dollars went to restore and to protect. All these years, it's been a relocation site for other endangered species and threatened species. And so for it to be something that can be utilized because it's deemed less expensive is an insult to you. It's an insult to me. I'm going to keep fighting it to the end. There were, some things flying around in the media following the Wildlife Commission meeting, the Florida Wildlife Commission meeting, where I guess Osceola County was saying that they'll just take it all over because the highway preferred alignment goes through Osceola County, but it was purchased together with Orange County, Osceola County, and Florida Communities Trust. It had been managed by the FWC. So there are other parties to this agreement, and they can't unilaterally just cut out the other parties. So so long as I have input here and I'm representing you, the people of Orange County, I will continue to do what you asked, which was to protect this land. 86% of the voters, plus, asked to continue to preserve this land. So I'm undeterred. And as soon as we have any more information, we will let you know. I believe public comment will be in the morning for that. So we will keep you apprised. If you'd like to come in and make public comment for the 750th time on Split Oak and preserving Split Oak, we'll just keep doing it.
Absolutely. Make your voice known.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
We also have the transportation sales tax.
Yeah, because we didn't want any other controversial topics on that day.
No.
So why wouldn't we put in the sales tax? So
why?
If you were here in 2022, the mayor's team, administration, actually they started in 2019, looking into an additional sales tax option for transportation. And COVID hit, and everybody we understood that right now we're not on the road, we're not looking for taking a bus, we just need to hunker down. And so really a lot of the big projects and plans got tabled. Well, coming back out of that, realizing sort of the need to look at other transit and transportation options, the mayor's team restarted what was discussed in 2019. So I got out to my community and did a big town hall, and I said, I want to hear from you. And it was standing room only, and people waited in line that went out the door and around the building to get to the microphone to tell me, unless you can show us what we're getting for this tax, we don't want it. And so I brought that information back, and I told the mayor's team, and I told our transportation team, they're not going to buy this out there, and they're not going to vote for this unless we show them what we're bringing to them. And that never happened. Quite frankly, on the very last presentation that we got about the transportation plan, the key to the map key, where it shows you what color different roadways and all that, what it means, went squarely over Horizon West. It literally covered the largest growing community in Florida right now. And so my district was very turned off about it. I voted no. I will continue to toe the line for my district. As much as I would like to see extra funds spent on infrastructure, and I fundamentally agree with good infrastructure funding, I'm not going to throw good money after bad and just throw money into a pit of more pavement, right? It has to be something that's going to be meaningful for my district. It has to be something that is not just paving through forests in order to bring private development in. So, really looking at what that plan looks like, and does it look different than it did in 2018 or 2022? I don't know yet. We'll let you know.
Yeah. And I think I wanted to mention one thing that's happening on this coming Saturday, actually, is the Olympic trials, the marathon trial, which is something that you're able to take part in a large role, which is pretty exciting. So,
I'm the vice mayor now.
Yeah.
In case you hadn't heard, my colleagues, so happy, really honored to have been elected by my colleagues to be the vice mayor this year. And in my role as vice mayor, I actually will be attending the ceremonies. I think the kickoff and then the follow-up ceremonies at the end of the race on Saturday. I think it's going to be broadcast live on NBC. And right here in Orlando, Orange County, we're going to have Olympic trials, men's and women's Olympic trials. So it's historic. And I'm super excited. I will say, if you are going to be out and about this weekend, just check for traffic closures, because between having the Olympic trials and oh my gosh, I just had a total blank on what's going on at Camping World.
Oh, the Pro
Pro Bowl. Why did I
yeah.
blank on that? I was thinking Super Bowl. I'm like, that's not here. That's not here. The
One
Pro
day,
Bowl.
one day, but
Yeah,
no.
yeah, right. The Pro Bowl, and I think so. There's going to be a lot going on. Very
Absolutely.
exciting time here, and I couldn't be any more proud to represent Orange County in the Olympic trials ceremonies and seeing some of these outstanding United States Olympians.
Yeah.
So you'll see me in my red, white, and blue with my flag. So excited.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think that was
it.
That was everything.
Look at us. All right. Well, stay in touch. We will continue to do this. I know that we squeeze in a lot here. Thank you, Aaron, for being here and doing this with me. And let us know what you want us to talk about. Reach out, make your appointment for our office hours if you have something you wanted to discuss, or we'll see you at the town hall.